Ridgemont High School sits at the edge of a town that most maps forget to include. Built in 1952, the three-story brick structure has weathered decades of students, scandals, and silence. Its hallways have absorbed the echoes of countless footsteps, and its walls hold secrets that even the oldest faculty members refuse to discuss. During the academic year, Ridgemont hums with the ordinary chaos of adolescence. Locker doors slamming. Announcements crackling through aging speakers. The perpetual squeak of sneakers on linoleum floors. But during winter break, when snow buries the parking lot, and frost traces patterns across the windows, Ridgemont becomes something else entirely. It becomes quiet. Too quiet, some would say. Because even empty buildings should not keep such perfect records. Margaret Holloway had worked at Ridgemont for 23 years. As the school's records administrator, she had processed thousands of transcripts, filed countless disciplinary reports, and maintained the attendance system with meticulous precision. She took pride in her work, in the order she imposed upon the chaos of teenage lives. Every winter break, Margaret came to the school alone. Not because she was required to, but because the silence helped her think. She would organize files, purge outdated records, and prepare the systems for the coming semester. December 27th began like any other day of solitary work. Margaret arrived at 7 a.m., parking her car in the empty lot, where snow had accumulated in undisturbed drifts. She unlocked the main entrance, disabled the alarm, and walked through the dark corridors to her office on the second floor. The heating system groaned and clicked, struggling against the cold that seeped through the old windows. Margaret logged into her computer and opened the attendance database. A routine check. Nothing more. What she found made her fingers freeze above the keyboard. The system showed attendance records for December 26th. That was impossible. The building had been closed. No staff. No students. The doors had been locked since December 20th. Margaret herself had been the one to secure them. And yet, according to the database, someone had been marked present. One name. One name that Margaret recognized immediately. Daniel Reeves. Daniel Reeves had been a senior at Ridgemont in 2016. Quiet. Unremarkable. The kind of student who sits in the back row and rarely speaks unless called upon. He had brown hair, glasses, and a habit of staying late to work on projects in the computer lab. On December 23, 2016, Daniel told his mother he was going to school to finish an assignment. He walked out the front door with his backpack over one shoulder. He never came home. The investigation lasted months. Police searched the building multiple times, interviewed every student and staff member, examined security footage. That revealed nothing unusual. Daniel had entered the school at 2:14 p.m. The cameras never recorded him leaving. His backpack was found in the computer lab. His work still open on the screen. An essay about memory and the places that hold it. The last sentence read, "Some buildings remember everyone who passes through them, and some people are remembered so strongly that they never truly pass through at all." The essay was unfinished. So was the investigation. Daniel Reeves was declared missing, presumed dead, in 2018. His file remained in Margaret's system, flagged with a red asterisk that she had never been able to bring herself to delete. And now, 7 years later, that same name appeared on an attendance log. Present. Eli Chen was not supposed to be at Ridgemont during winter break. But he had convinced Principal Morrison to grant him access to the newspaper archives. A special project for the school paper's anniversary edition. Eli was a junior, ambitious, and too curious for his own good. He arrived on December 28th, the day after Margaret discovered the impossible attendance record. Margaret almost didn't let him in. She stood at the entrance, keys in hand, studying the young man with a scrutiny that made him uncomfortable. "You're the newspaper student," she said finally. It was not a question. Eli nodded. "The archives are in the basement. Don't go anywhere else." She watched him walk down the hallway, his footsteps echoing off the walls. And something cold settled in her chest. That had nothing to do with the temperature. In the basement, surrounded by boxes of old yearbooks and faded newspapers, Eli began his research. He was looking for stories about the school's founding, early achievements, sports victories, the usual anniversary fare. What he found was a pattern. Over the decades, Ridgemont had experienced an unusual number of incidents. During winter breaks, a janitor in 1968 who reported hearing classroom discussions in empty rooms. A teacher in 1982 who swore she saw students in the hallways at midnight. A maintenance worker in 1994 who quit after finding fresh chalk writing on blackboards that had been cleaned hours before. And then there was Daniel Reeves. Eli pulled the yearbook from 2016 and found Daniel's photo, an ordinary face, slightly blurred, as though he had moved just as the camera clicked. But when Eli flipped to the 2017 yearbook, published after Daniel's disappearance, he felt his stomach drop. In the background of a candid photo from the spring dance, nearly hidden behind a group of smiling students, stood a figure. Brown hair, glasses, watching the camera with an expression that seemed almost surprised, as though he had not expected to be seen. Daniel Reeves. Eli checked the 2018 yearbook. Another background figure. 2019. Again. 2020. 2021. 2022. 2023. Every year. Always in the background. Always slightly out of focus. Always present. Upstairs, Margaret was experiencing her own discovery. The attendance system had updated again. December 27th now showed 2 names marked present: Daniel Reeves and one other, Margaret Holloway. She stared at the screen, her reflection ghostly in the monitor's glow. She had not marked herself present. She had not touched the attendance module at all. A soft click echoed from somewhere down the hallway. Margaret stood slowly, moving to her office door. The corridor was empty. Rows of lockers stood in silence. The fluorescent lights flickered once, twice, then stabilized. At the far end of the hall, a classroom door was open. Room 217. Daniel Reeves' last assigned classroom. Margaret began walking toward it, her footsteps impossibly loud. In the silence, the door was open, exactly 6 inches. Through the gap, she could see desks arranged in perfect rows. A chalkboard covered in equations from before the break. A figure sitting in the back row. facing forward. Waiting. Margaret's hand trembled as she pushed the door open wider. The room was empty. But on the desk in the back row, a single word had been written in the dust. Present. The bell has not rung. Class is not dismissed. And roll call continues. For those who never truly left. And those who have only just arrived.